Chapter 4, Mishnah 10. The discussion in this Mishnah does not relate to the laws of Hechsher, but to the laws of Tamei liquid. If a Tamei liquid becomes mixed with a larger amount of rainwater, it is nullified in the mixture and loses its independent status. Hence, no part of the mixture is Tamei. However, nullification does not occur if the rainwater is subject to Tuma, i.e. it can become Tamei. In that case, the Tamei liquid transmits Tuma to the rainwater, and so the entire mixture is Tamei. The question of whether rainwater is subject to Tuma depends on whether one was pleased that it was detached from its source. The Mishnah refers to a case where rainwater fell onto logs, and the law centers on whether the owner was pleased that his logs became wet, in which case the rainwater can become Tamei, or whether he was not pleased with the wetting of his logs, in which case the rainwater cannot become Tamei. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. If a Tamei liquid fell onto logs and then rain fell onto them, the law is that if the amount of the rainwater is greater than the amount of the Tamei liquid, the mixture is tahor, because the tahor rainwater in the mixture nullifies the Tamei liquid. The owner is presumably unhappy that the rainwater made his logs wet, because they are now more difficult to burn. Consequently, the rainwater cannot become Tamei. Thus, since there is more rainwater than Tamei liquid in the mixture, the rainwater nullifies the liquid, making the entire mixture tahor. However, if he had taken the logs outside so that rain should fall on them, even though there was more rainwater than Tamei liquid, it is Tamei. In this case, the person deliberately took the logs outside so that they will become wet in the rain, thereby showing that he is pleased with the rainwater. The rainwater is thus subject to Tuma, and so the rainwater becomes Tamei through contact with Tamei liquid. Therefore, even though most of the mixture consists of rainwater, the entire mixture is Tamei. However, if the logs absorbed the Tamei liquid, such that there was no trace of the liquid on the logs when the rain fell, then even though he had taken the logs outside so that rain will fall on them, in which case he is pleased that his logs became wet, the rainwater is tahor, although the rainwater is subject to Tuma, and so it cannot nullify the Tamei liquid. It remains tahor because it never came into contact with the Tamei liquid, for the Tamei liquid was absorbed into the logs. Nevertheless, one should not kindle the logs except with tahor hands. Someone whose hands are Tamei will make the rainwater on the logs Tamei. Therefore, when these logs are in the oven and he kindles them, the Tamei rainwater will transmit Tuma to the oven. To prevent this from happening, one should not kindle the logs unless his hands are tahor. The previous Tana holds that if the Tamei liquid is absorbed into the logs, it does not make anything Tamei. The next Tana holds that this is true only if the logs are dry. But if the logs are moist when they are ignited in the oven, the log's natural moisture will emerge as a result of the heat, i.e. the moisture will appear on the surface of the logs for a moment before it is consumed by the fire. Together with the log's natural moisture, the Tamei liquid will also emerge. The Tamei liquid could then transmit Tuma as follows. Rabbi Shimon says if the logs were naturally moist when he kindled them, in which case the liquids inside the logs, i.e. both the Tamei liquid and the logs had absorbed and the log's natural moisture will emerge before they are consumed by the fire. And if the amount of the natural moisture that came out of the logs is greater than the amount of the Tamei liquid that they had absorbed, the mixture of the two liquids is tahor. The log's natural moisture cannot become Tamei because it is not one of the liquids that are subject to Tuma. As such, it can nullify even liquids that are Tamei. In our case then, since there is more natural moisture than Tamei liquid in the mixture, the natural moisture nullifies the Tamei liquid, making the entire mixture tahor. However, if the amount of the natural moisture is not greater than the amount of the Tamei liquid, there is no nullification of the Tamei liquid, rather it remains Tamei.